In this video, I'm going to show you guys how to paint this lovely fall birch tree forest scene. Come with me and let's get creative. If you would love to learn how to paint and get creative, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and the bell next to it, and let's get started. So the first thing that I'm going to do is get out my primed smooth artist panel, and then I have already mixed my color palette for the month of October. If you want to learn how I mix these colors with just 5 colors, go ahead and click right here to become a Createful Art member. The colors that I'm using are in the description below. I'm just going to use a few brushes. I'm going to be using 2 flat brushes. Well, this one's called a bright, this one's more of a wash brush, and then this is a round, and it's a small round. I'm not sure on the sizes of these things, so you can just kind of look at it with my finger to kind of get an idea, because the sizes have been painted over or scrubbed off. Alright, this first step is very easy. It's one of my favorite steps because you're just playing with the paint. I'm grabbing my wash brush and I'm just going on my canvas, just getting my canvas or my panel covered with paint. So I'm grabbing my blue here, and then I'm going to mix another color and put that one on there as well. I'm just going to go ahead and add this gray. So I just want to make sure that I cover up my entire canvas with these colors. And then I need to blow dry this and make it dry. Okay, so I added some of my green with my yellow and some white. I'm just going to add in a little bit of that. Just a little bit here and there, just to give it some more dimension. Remember to just play around. Doesn't matter where it's at, and you can go from light to dark like I did. Adding in some more colors. This is a very playful part of the painting, so play around, have fun. Now you can see that it's getting some dimension here. Now it's time to block in some of your shapes. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a little bit of my yellow and add some white, some green to it. Okay, and I'm just going to start just adding in blocks of this yellow. This one for now, just on top. And again, I'm still being random. It really doesn't matter where you put yours. Just kind of go with the flow. Let yourself be free from having to do something a certain way. It's actually very nice. Okay, you can see I'm kind of just blotching around. You can make longer marks if you want. Now I'm adding in some of my tan with my yellow just to get a different yellow, and a little bit of my white. Okay, this one's kind of more like a tannish orange yellow. See how it's kind of brighter? And I'm doing the same thing, just going around. I'm gonna make a nice spot right here, really glowy. Okay, so this time I'm going to take my yellow and a little bit of my orange and mix, because this painting is mostly yellows. This gives me a nice variety of yellow. I just keep going, adding that in wherever you feel like it, and then I'm going to just add in some straight yellow. Okay, it does not matter composition, nothing of that matters right now. It's just the blotching, getting that down. Okay, I'm gonna line my sides with some yellow, just a little bit, just to bring it in. Come here on the edge here a little bit down here. So now's the time to let that dry. Okay, so now in this step we're going to paint our trees. And I have mixed up a pretty light gray color using my blue and my white. You can even add a little bit of red to that if you want to purplify it. This is something where you can just kind of be creative, pick a color. Now the trees are a bit trickier than just painting the background all blotchy, okay? So what you're looking for in your trees, and you can look outside if you'd like, but you're looking for painting the inconsistency that's in the trees. So I'm using a flat brush, and I'm not just gonna go straight down, okay? Because that's too consistent, and I want to get the look, the realistic look, okay? Even though this isn't a realism painting per se, okay? So another thing that is part of a tree is that it gets thicker as you go down. So just try to keep that in mind as you come down here. Now, I'm not going to go all the way to the bottom because we're going to see some of the foliage around this tree, okay? Now I like to turn my brush to the side to get a skinnier tree. I'm just going to go right next to this tree and kind of just go with the flow, because I'm actually looking outside my window at some trees and I'm like, oh, that's cute how it's skinny and it's right next to that tree, and then it kind of overlaps the tree right next to it, like, no, this is my spot. And the bigger tree was like, fine. It's like I had a little brother, took over my spot here. Okay, and then I'm gonna put another tree, and this one just kind of back a little bit further, a little skinnier, and a little straighter. And then I'm going to come up front with this other tree, and this is going to be pretty much my focal point. Okay, so I'm choosing a focal point right in here, and it's going to be part of this tree. So I want it to be thicker. Just a little bit straighter. Comes down a little bit further. I have a tree back here, and these all look like they're on the same level right now, but once we add in some shadows and stuff, it's not going to be the same. Okay, and then it's going to disappear behind this other tree. Just one more like skinny one back here. It's kind of a crookedy tree. Kind of had to go around my thing right here, so let's kind of fix that a little bit closer to this tree. And one more tree, just like right here. I'm gonna let this one kind of come to this edge like that. Okay, so once you get on your trees, the next thing to do is to shade your trees, okay? And I like to do this a little bit while it's wet, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just take that light color that I created, and I'm going to add a little bit more blue to it, okay? And I'm just going to come down the middle because the light's coming from behind it, okay? So this color is going to mix in with the color behind it, so you don't see it that much. Okay, now notice I'm going from side to side. That is actually going to bring in some of that texture of the tree. Because these trees are not perfectly smooth. I'm just going down the middle. Go down the middle of all your trees, the same as what I'm doing. Okay, so there's one more thing I'm going to block in here, and I'm just going to use my yellow and my white, and I'm going to put that in my focal point right here. next to my tree. Okay, and it comes behind the tree like right here. And the reason why I'm doing that now is because I'm going to be going over some of the light that's here. So just like to add it first, a little bit over here, but just a little bit. Just add a little pieces here and there. So some right here, here. Okay, just kind of play a little bit, adding the light wherever you feel like it needs it. You can even add it down here as a reflection off of the green. And your eye is going to fill all this in, make sense of it, so just have fun. And now I'm going to go just a little bit lighter with my yellow. Okay, so even more white. And I'm going to add in another layer, another light layer. See how that's making it really glow? I'm going to add that over the top of some of this right here, through here. Okay, then I need to let that dry. Okay, so for this step, I've just created a pure form of my color. So my other ones, I dirtied them down by using a complementary color with them to kind of dull them. But this one has no dulling whatsoever. So I just took my pure yellow, my pure blue that's not mixed. And now I'm just going to add that color to the sides of my tree. Okay, so I'm just adding it here, there. So go ahead and add a little bit of that to your trees. Okay, so now that I've added that pretty green color there, I'm gonna start adding it, and this is the green leaves that are showing behind these yellow leaves. Okay, and then when I come down here to do the grasses, I come up like that, okay? One of the things that I am doing is trying to kind of avoid this area with my green, just because that right there is going to incorporate a lot of the yellows. Okay, and then just go ahead and listen to your music, relax, add this green in there. Okay, while that dries, we're going to add a layer to our tree, okay? And we're going to take our dark blue and we're going to put it at the bottom here. Okay, and the thing is that these trees, they are dark down here, but it's very inconsistent and we want to get that look. So you're going to come down and you're going to come into that yellow a little bit, bring it up. See how I use the negative space and I make grasses by going down into the yellow. Now you're going to take that same blue and you're going to come in here and using the side of your brush, make the little shapes of those aspen trees where it has like an eye shape. Okay, so just try to make it so that you are not consistent, because in nature it isn't consistent. Okay, sometimes there's just a line like that. You're like, okay, you know, look at a tree for a reference and just kind of play around with how it looks. Okay, and then have some of your trees have hardly any of that going on, just for a variety. So this one over here, I'm hardly going to give it any. Now, where the branches come off, that's where you're going to have one of these things, okay? So you can always just take your brush and go whoop, like that. Okay, just remember that this tree is behind that tree. Okay, this tree is back a little bit further. So I'm just going to take some of my white, add it to that blue, and make it darker. It's also going to provide that contrast against this tree right here. Okay, see how that works? Now you can take that color and add it to your other trees in different areas. Okay, just for that shaded area. But since this one's a little bit more forward, it's not going to be as dark. It's in the back too, so it's going to be a little bit darker. Ooh. Okay, to get the warmth, I'm going to take my orange here, okay, and I'm going to use it kind of like it's a glaze, so it is actually a transparent color, but you can add a little bit of water to your brush to get that transparency. I'm going to add that over the top of my trees. So maybe a little bit on this tree, but not a lot. So I'm grabbing my orange color here, and I'm just going to block in some of this, adding in this beautiful color. The bushes would be more like, you know, little shapes like this. Okay. And the grasses would be more like, you know, these long shapes like this. But I don't want to add the orange to every little spot. Now, I'm going to take a light blue and I'm going to start kind of making what would be my sky. So I want to make sure that it's the blue I want. Put that in some areas, okay? It through here, so I'll add some of it to my tree to make this look like it belongs. I'll add it to this tree. Just a little bit of the blue. Just a little bit. Now this last step, this is our yellow step, okay? So I'm going to move down to my round little brush, and I'm grabbing my yellows, and there's several yellows that I can mix up for this. I'm just using what's on my palette to mix with them, so some of it could be more tan, some of it could be more yellow, okay? But the trick is you're going to go over some of your trees with this yellow. That's what I'm talking about, okay? I'm trying to keep this tree in the front, so I don't want to go over that one per se, but I can go over any of these other ones. And by putting this yellow back in, it really brightens the painting. Okay, and so like this area right here has very similar colors. So I'm just gonna add in some more of a different color. So it looks like, you know what, this isn't all just the same thing going on right there. I'm just kind of showing you the process here. You can turn on your music. Okay, so I'm going to pick some light areas where this light is bouncing off that are really going to glow. So right in here. Okay, right back here. A little bit right here. And some right here. So I'm going to take a moment and kind of try to take out as much as I can of the blue that's not in the trees. Not all of it, but just enough that it, you know, it's not really a part of any part of the painting in the background. And that just kind of softened the painting a little bit more. Okay, and then I'm going to use that blue to come in here and add some more branches. And these branches can be really anywhere. I may even like add, you know, a little tree. Looks like a little tree in the distance, like right there. Okay, you can keep working on it until you feel like it's what you want it to look like. That with the light glowing back here from behind, I want this to be more like trees instead of the blue sky. Just right here at the top. So what I'm going to do is just bring this down, this green. So you're like kind of in the forest and the light's coming from behind it. That's how I wanted it. Okay. Like I could have the sky, but wasn't feeling it. I'm enjoying outside looking right now. I can't even see the sky and all these trees, so just wanted that look. Thank you so much for painting with me. I hope you learned a lot from this birch tree tutorial. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments. Also, you can get weekly art lessons right here to help you become a better artist, and watch more videos right over here. I will see you in my next video. Bye!